Hey everyone, Andang here for some more Lord of the Rings Online. This is once again that time to be making our way back into LOTRO. And I'm super excited because we're going through the epilogue of the Black Book of Mordor. We're almost through this thing. I think it might still be another stream, but we're getting super close to the end here, and I'm really excited. So let's go ahead and hop right on back into LOTRO and talk to the old Gandalf here and see what is next.
It is time to hear the rest of VOIN'S tale.
Let's go. Already read that last time, I think.
What secrets did VOIN hide within these holes of memory? Let us now discover them, my friend.
Here we go. I believe this will be our last delve into the worlds of our distant friend VOIN, Staffdang. Yes, I say friend, for though the tome he left us comes from Mordor and bears the sigil of Sauron upon its cover, I have detected little malice on the part of the Zelruka who wrote it. He has expanded our knowledge of the past, and for that I call him friend. The shard of glass reveals hidden writing that speaks of Mordor. That is where VOIN picks up the tale, and that is where we should follow in these halls of memory. What further secrets might we uncover here? I must run and find out quickly. It seems our dwarf went to Mordor in search of Eärnur. Alright. Just gonna hang there, Gandalf? Very well. To Mordor I went, then, seeking word of my vanished friend, Gandalf reads aloud. My mind wandered on the hard journey. I remember our adventures together, and they brought a smile to my face, even in that dark land. But there were other memories too, regrets, and those were less welcome. He had just become king of Gondor, and the crown was an ill fit. The taunts of the Witch King at Fornost ate away at him. If my horse had not bolted, he often began. But one of us was always there to keep him from dwelling upon it. If Magoldir had lived, his words might have kept Eärnur from going to Minas Morgul. But Magoldir was dead, and would never return from Durthang. Could I have stopped him? This is the thought that comes back to me again and again, as I write these passages in the dim light of the accursed beacon. He had just become a king, and I trusted that his knights would keep him safe. Gondor was no land for Zelruka, and I had deeds of my own to perform. I remember his words to me before I returned to the northern mountains. Go find your city, VOIN. Go find Thafar Gathol. I embraced him then, and bid him farewell. I will, I told him. Love this instance? Yeah, it's really... Whoops, I didn't read the rest of it. I didn't see the scroll bar. I will find you, my friend. I think we got the gist of it. Alright, here we go. Oh yeah, I forgot we go here. After many months, Gandalf reads, at last I found him. Open your Hobbit gift. Alright, chat. You happy? We got 20 virtue experience and a battle potion of restoration. It's so great. Aren't we all glad we did that? Okay. Let's keep going. Oh, hey, we got 2 points now. I forgot we got that extra point. We'll come back to deciding on that in a second. I wanted to look at this first. Okay, wow, we need to do some serious work on that too. Oh, good gravy. That's only at 10? Oh! That'll take a while. Alright. Anyway. Yeah, that's pretty good, removing skill inductions. What else do we got? You absorb and reflect a percentage of all damage done to you while inducting. Enemies who interrupt your inductions pay dearly for their rudeness. At base, you return and absorb 7% of damage. See, enemies don't do that much damage, so I don't know how good that one actually is. But maybe I want to do at least the base. Maybe I want to at least do the base. Also extra pet damage, extra loyalty for your pet. Extra damage if your pet gets hurt. Pet critical damage chance doesn't really matter. But we had to invest in that to get further down the tree. Do I want to re-specialize? Let me do this instead. Inductions, extra damage there. Fire is really nice. That's really nice. Your fire skills have a 25% chance to raise a protective shield around you. Yeah, we like that too. Let's go and apply that. And then let's look and see what else we're missing from the other. Nothing. We didn't invest in any of those. We didn't even invest in Sword and Storm. Staff Strike will call down a lightning to your foe, dealing... But I mean, we don't use Staff Strike like ever. I feel like we probably shouldn't have that one, though. I don't know. Hey, Mistweaver, Shoreless Skies. Welcome, welcome. Nice to have all of you here. All the Virtue and Class Trait stuff unlocks with VIP, right? Yeah, that's true. Yep. Okay, so that's that. And then we want to do extra storm damage. Yeah, we want that extra lightning damage. And then extra pet damage or extra pet morale. Definitely extra pet damage. Definitely want Inner Flame. Pet crit chance. I guess. Get rid of inductions. Increase tactical damage, sure. Boost max morale of your pet and yourself. But see, because that's not percentage based, we only get an extra 5,000 morale. Like, that's a lot of points to invest for not a lot of extra damage buff for when your pet gets attacked. You know what? I think I'd rather have the tactical mastery. There we go. And then we'll put a couple points in here. Okay, we don't care about that. And that's when we have to invest that point there to get to here. Let's see, what's 9% reduced inductions really? I mean, 9% on 1.5 is like something really small. So we'll just say 15 times 0.09. So that'd literally be like a second off, basically. That's actually pretty good, all things considered. Yeah, I guess it would be point. However many seconds. Yeah. Okay, let's switch back over here. So that way we don't have to redo all our skills. Where they're placed and everything. Yeah, I think that's what we have to do. We'll just keep reducing. We'll do 1 point here. There we go. It was in the city of Minas Morgul that I came to live, hiding in plain sight among the other wicked dwarves that served the orcs and their foul masters. It was unpleasant work and cruel, but every disagreeable task elevated my position in the city and brought me nearer to my goal. Other dwarves claim these Elruka have no patience. I proved them all wrong, and was rewarded in time. Eventually the bosses gave me a new post, Steward of the Chambers, within the tower atop the city. It was there I at last found Eonar, and the few of his knights who yet survived. Is this what passes for comfort in the lands of the south? I should think you could do better than this, Eonar. I see you still have your sword, which makes you more guest than prisoner. You should have asked for better accommodations, I think. It is good to see you again, Voin. But you should not have come here. That goes double for you. You never did have much sense. No. I suppose not. Well, this last look around to remember the place, and then we'll be away. Why do you not follow? I cannot leave. He has barred the way with cruel enchantments. There's only one means of escape, and I would not take it. But I spent 5 years in search of you. I will not leave alone. The Lord of the Nazgul will know if I pass beyond the threshold. He will reclaim me and slay you, or worse. I will not bring either of those fates upon you. You are always the most stubborn of my friends, Eonar. So what is this escape he claims to allow? Using dark arts, he drained the humanity from several of my knights. They were transformed into the Kargul, a race of evil that exist only to serve him. And that is a sad fate. Death would be better. So thought Kaltir, but he did not have the chance. He was the first to be changed. Our other friends remain in the dungeons. Poor Kaltir. I would see what I can find out, or if the others might be freed. Is that the fate of the Nazgul Lord plans for you, then? No. No, he allows me to keep my sword, for it figures in his plan. He wants me to despair, to abandon all hope of a free life. In that last moment, he wishes for me to fall upon my own blade. Only when Orthodale drinks my blood will he allow me to die and escape him. It sounds like a trick to me. I am no scholar, but he must have woven some enchantment around the blade. Letting it taste your blood will likely bind you to him in some unpleasant fashion. I have resisted for these many years, but it becomes more difficult with every passing day. He is patient. This is the only victory that will satisfy him. He is willing to wait. Time was no friend of ours, Gandalf reads aloud. That's crazy. I forgot that all the Kargul, we finally found out what the heck they are. And it's the knights of a king of Gondor. Like, that's crazy. Super duper cool. We will think of something. There is still time. The Witch King's pride will be his downfall. He thinks to rob you of the spark that drives you. Eonar, the fire that so infuriates him. As long as that passion to resist him burns within you, he will not know victory over you. I have stayed here too long. I will be back tomorrow, my friend. Found that out just now. Nice, Lolzo. Yeah, it's one of the best pieces of lore, for sure, for sure. You get to fight one of them in Minas Tirith too? Yeah. Yeah, there's some cool stuff, man. Like a grinding wheel, time moved ever onward, Gandalf said. Right. Think, Eonar, think. There is still time, but there is less now than there was. I have devised 100 plans, each of them less likely to succeed than the previous one. But that does not mean escape is impossible. Never think that. I do not want to worry you.
But you should know, Silmatar is no more. The Houses of Lamentation claim another of our friends. No, we should not weep for him. Let his fate inspire us to escape, and we can mourn him when we are both free of the Black Land. Not just he, but Silmatar and Kalitur both. Think!
But the grinding wheel showed no mercy. Time moved onward, reads Gandalf.
I am beginning to worry, my friend. There must be means of escape. Some way to free you from the Nazgul's grasp. I have searched this tower high and low, and delved into every corner of the Vale. But there is nothing. What is it? What do you say? You have thought of something. At last, Eonar, speak! Tell me what you have devised, and I will carry it out. What? The Far Gathol. Why do you speak its name here in the darkness of Morgul? That is of no use to us now, friend. We must think only of escape. For all the time I have known you, Rowan, you have dreamed of finding your lost city. I do not want to take that from you and cause you to waste years here in the tower. Yes, I know my doom. Here in the heart of his power. I cannot hope to resist the Lord of the Nazgul for much longer. He knows this. But he seeks not only a thrall. He wants something else. He wants to destroy my spirit. The fire inside me that so infuriates him. He wants me to despair, to fall upon my own sword. To say word and deed. You have the victory, and I am the bested. You are right, Rowan. You are right. That would be no escape, and would bind me to his will. Know you of Egamoth. He was the lord of this city when it fell, but he did not wait. In some tower for the Nazgul to slay him, he rode out, defying the enemies of Orc and Wraith. And though he came in the end to death, I think his onslaught will be long remembered. I cannot do as he did, and I cannot keep the Lord of the Nazgul from dominating my mind. But I can hinder the schemes he has deceived for me, and by deceived I mean devised, and cheat him of the total victory he seeks. None will know of this save you, Rowan. My own onslaught will not become song or tale or legend, but it will be the deed of Eonar, who resisted evil to the last. I cannot leave this tower without alerting the Lord of the Nazgul. But the same cannot be said for Orthadale. I would send this sword away, as far away as can be managed. Let this be my last act of defiance. Yes. Yes! But how? How can it be done? Orlang and the Malinis live still within the dungeons. Give one of them the sword and a path to escape. I will. Does identifying a legendary item bind it? No, it doesn't. What is it? Without a distraction, no one will be able to leave Imlad Morgul. I understand, Ada. Just make sure you don't equip it or start earning XP, because that will bind it to you, I believe. Here we go, through Gandalf's mind once again. There must be further hidden runes elsewhere, Gandalf insists. Gandalf? Gandalf turns more pages, peering through the glass once at each one. Ah, here we are, Gandalf says to you with satisfaction. Every step I took in those dungeons was the heaviest of my life, reads Gandalf. Such a weird world, man. Vaughn, what news of Aetna? Tell me, he still resists the torments of the Nazgul. What? Escape. What has changed? I will not leave without Aetna. You say he's already fled. Happy news. If you will open my cell, I will follow him to freedom. Dear sweet Vaughn. What of Masilnis? You go to free her now. Then I will away. Let us meet again when you are safely outside the Black Land. Farewell, Vaughn, bearer of happy tidings, and welcome escape. Farewell, my friend. Good luck to you. Goodbye, Orlang. I am sorry. Templar Mogi, welcome, welcome. Guard! What do you want, dwarf? A prisoner is escaping. Eastward he went, toward the bounds. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. After him, boys. Dang. This is hard reading, Gandalf says, looking up from the pages of the Black Book. Only one of Aenor's knights could escape, but even that would require the Guardians in the Vale to be occupied with some distracting mission. Something was needed to draw their attention away from the bearer of the sword. I knew Masilnis was more fleet of foot than Orlang, and would have the greatest chance of escaping the valley. So I gave to her the sword Orthodales and set her free. Only after she was fled did I go to release Orlang. But there was little time to waste. I sent the tower's guardians after him, almost immediately, and he led them on a desperate chase, away from Masilnis. Alas, my friend, I had no choice. Anyone could see that. Is guildcraft? Do you mean is making a guild worth doing in LOTRO? Is that what you're saying? The sword at least never came back to him, lad Morgul. It was not so poor, Orling. Not so with poor Orling. Yeah, no worries. So yeah, I think crafting for reputation can be worth it. Just depends on what you want. Like with me personally, I haven't done like any of that. That's proof by how few mounts I have on this character. As best, welcome back. And so ends the hidden runes Voin left within the Black Book of Mordor, Andang. This is turning into a dwarf for some reason. If the knight Masilnis escaped him lad Morgul, and came to free lands again, Voin does not tell. And yet, I think, we have learned enough from this black book for me to suggest some possibilities. I believe Masilnis escaped the bounds of Mordor, still in possession of Orthodel, the rising star, but not without injury. For how long did she journey, and to where did she go? We cannot know for certain. But it seems she did not make for Minas Tirith, or word of her would appear once again. And it does not. I think she turned northward, in an attempt to put as much distance between herself and the Witch King as she was able. Did she survive the journey, and live out her days in peace? Did she succumb to wounds freshly inflicted during her escape, or those she endured during the years of her torment in the dungeons? Was she recaptured by hunting parties sent by the Witch King? Voin never learned which of these came to pass, and I cannot say. But of this I'm quite certain. Whatever may have been the fate of the Knights of Gondor, the blade she carried out of the Morgul Vale survived. Orthodel was elf-make, wielded first by Magoldir the Elf during the siege of Barad-dûr, and later by King Eärnur of Gondor. But in that time, its history was forgotten, and its name was lost. Became just a sword, handed down from bearer to bearer for many years. Somehow it found its way into the hands of Adúnadain, and became an heirloom of his house. That is how it came to the Ranger Goldir, Andang. Yes, though it endured much over the years, I think the sword that would be remade in the forges of Rivendell, and renamed Dun-Nakar, was once known as Orthodel. And so the Rising Star became the Avenger of the West. That's super cool. WC, make sure you have the exclamation without a space before Arwen.
Yes, it is conjecture only. I believe it is true.
Much that was obscured from us now seems clear.
When the sword Dunakar pierced Mordor's form in the throne room of Khand Dûm, the purpose of the Witch King was fulfilled 1,000 years later, but not in the manner for which he planned. Bonds were made that day, and months later on the Pelennor fields before Minas Tirith, they would be broken. He could not remember it, but 1,000 years later, Aenna's final act of resistance freed him from the domination of Mordor.
Gandalf closes the black book and looks up at you. That's insane. Oh my gosh. That's brilliant. Evil accidentally extended the life of one of their own. Brilliant.
That is enough for now, my friend. We have come to the end of the moon writing, but the discovery has stirred in me the curiosity that I missed something in my earlier pursuit of this tome. I do not know what it may have been, but I can sense its presence still. Mysteries upon mysteries. Perhaps I will return to this matter when we have satisfied our charge. Yes, I fear we have spent too many hours in study, neglected our other tasks.
Have you forgotten why I came this way?
I'm here in the Vales of Anduin to escort the wagon bearing Isildur's bones northward. Yes, the son of Elendil will at last complete the journey he began at the start of the age, and by so doing see the fulfillment of his oath. I left the wagon to partake of Grimbeorn's hospitality, for his dogs serve a merry feast. But it is past time for this wizard to return to service, and you should come with me. Are you not tied up in this business as well? Do not give me that look. I had very little to do with you getting involved, if you remember. I dare say I could not have stopped you. But had I the mind to try. I will see you alongside the wagon. The driver should have reached Lairland by now. Look for him along the road beside the Gladden Fields.
Alright, let's go, Gandalf. I don't know why I went out the back door, but there we go. Apparently, so we could see that goat. Alright.
The Vales are under our protection.
Here we go. Yeah, I did finish that skateboard part, finally. Man. That level was so silly. 20 from 100,000 Glitwine ballads. Good gravy, Mistweaver. I like the idea that every single person passing this is just like, was that the ghost of Isildur? What the heck did I just see? Hold the phone. Did I just see what I think I saw? You have too much power. Hey, Fahrenheit, what's up? And Ophilthrium. Thanks so much for that follow. Really appreciate it.
I sense the presence of evil.
Something is not right. Something is amiss. I sense the presence of evil. I am beyond harm. Have I not suffered harm enough in these lands? That I would have no further injury come to my remains. Whatever evil comes here, begone! Take thee from these lands and leave us be.
There is a dreadful presence here, but I cannot see the source of it.
I advise you to stand by the wagon and look for the source of this dread. It may be nothing, but it also may not.
Yeah. Vagarai, the Wanderer, has come to this place. Escape. Enveloped by a feeling of dread. Yes, there's the dread enveloping him right now, jeez.
I remember now. It was lost to me, but now it has returned.
I know. I know. I know. Son of no blood, son of no blood. The shade stares at you, glaring at the wagon, and the dread sensation intensifies. Then it abates, with only emptiness left in its wake. I remember now. The shade murmurs. It was lost to me, but now it has returned. I know what I saw. I know what I did. The shade grows indistinct, wavering in your vision, and then reforms again. It seems to take a great deal of effort, and leaves Vagarai weary. I want to confess to you what I saw, and what I did. I want one among the living to know of my misdeeds. And then there is something I must do. Will you heed me?
Don't do it! Don't do it, Andang!
Do not forget this is a creature of evil. But I think we should heed it.
The source of the dread has become visible to us, and wishes to confess its crimes. I find this most peculiar, Staffdang, and I urge you to remain on guard. We must not forget this creature is a creature of evil. Evil. But I think we should hear what it has to say.
Let us hear what Vagari has to say.
Vagari.
My story begins long ago. So very long ago. This is my tale. Hear it, and know from whence I came.
I was born in Numenor, 2 scant years before its fall. But I cannot trust my memories of that land. Are they true recollections, or the fleeting shadows of stories I was told? The impressions of others, I cannot say. But I know the name I was given. I was born Adunzagar. It was only the first of my names, and not the last. My father was Arizagar, the Captain General of Numenor's fleets. His title was Sword of the Sun. Do I remember his cruelty, or his worship at the temples of Sauron? I thought I did. Do I remember the warmth of my mother, Abranzani? Or is that memory a creation too? Balm for the hurts of my heart. This I do not know. This I do know, rather. My mother pleaded with the sons of Elendil to make a place for me on their ships when the deluge came to Numenor. In later years, when I was older, Isildur told me that my father's spies prevented her from reaching the ships in time. Was it so? I do not know. But that is how I came without father or mother to the shores of Middle-earth, with Numenor sank beneath the waves. Are the promised changes to the VIP system already live? I don't know. I don't know, subbing Tuggly people? I don't know. Isildur took me to foster and gave me a new name, Tarandil. Hey, thanks so much for that follow, really appreciate it. I grew up with his sons, and they were as brothers to me. By the time I was a man, I had won a number of victories on Isildur's behalf. Indeed, after Battle of Tarlang's Neck, it was I who accepted the surrender of Ryaik. I myself delivered Ryaik's axe and spear to Isildur and attended the victory. Feast with him. Vows were sworn and speeches were made, but they passed me by like mist. I had only eyes for Bravatel, King Ryaik's only daughter. Have we really not been to the Stone of Eric yet? Alright. I loved her at once, and she loved me, but we could not spend of it openly. In secret we plighted our troth before the stone my foster father set upon Eric. Why did we secretly get together on top of a hill where everyone could see? King Ryaik had pledged peace to my people, but he still hated the men of Numenor. Bramantale knew this, but the ways of the heart are not those of the mind. Revealing the truth of our love would destroy the peace between our peoples. So we said nothing. But then Bramantale bore me a son. She named him Heol. It's Horn and Nona all over again. Oh my. And seriously, babies in LOTRO, some of the ugliest looking kids ever. Like, look at that nonsense. One of the ugliest kids ever. Nettlebrew, welcome, welcome. Nice to have you here again. King Ryaik was enraged, for he was certain that his grandson had been born a bastard. But Bramantale soothed his ire with reassuring words. She told the king she had been married in secret, not to an invading Numenorian, but to one of his own warriors, who had recently been slain in battle with orcs. Heol was born of that union, she said. and therefore the stain of dishonor could not cling to him. Ryak's anger cooled, and he agreed to raise the boy as his own grandchild. I grieved that my son would not know his true father, but there was nothing I could do. I stole gold from the treasury of Prince Aether of Belfalis, and sent as much as could be done secretly to Bravantel, to provide for the boy. But then I was summoned back east by my foster father, Isildur, for the host of Mordor had come down the valley, and overthrown Minas. Sauron's war had begun, and the kings sent word of all their allies that it was time to honor their vows. It was then that Ryak learned the truth. Eol had been born with blue eyes, uncommon, but not unknown to the wild men. Their eyes sometimes did not darken until they reached the age of 2. But Eol's eyes did not darken, and his pale skin and black hair betrayed his Númenórean blood. Ryak confronted Brotaviel, threatening to kill her child, and she confessed the truth. She said she had loved a Dunedain, but she would rather die than betray his name. Incensed, Ryak ordered his warriors to set down the spears. He swore eternal enmity with Gondor, and declared he was breaking his oath. The men of the mountain would not fight against Sauron. And so the curse of Isildur was levied against them. It was all your fault, all because of a lie, man. So many bombshells in this epilogue, I forgot just how many. I pleaded with Isildur to show mercy, to forgive Ryak and his people of their oath-breaking. But my foster father's wrath at their treachery was so great, I feared for my life. I quailed before the storm of his rage, and told him not of Bravantel, my wife, or Heol, my son. Would the truth-telling have changed his mind? Would it cause him to repent of his curse? My mind dwells ever on this. But not earliest of my wrongs, but the first I regret. I went north with Isildur and my foster brothers to summon aid from Arnor and from the elves, and every night my heart pleaded with me to speak the truth, and every day the guilt pressed heavily upon me and weighed my lips shut. For all my time with the Great Alliance, I kept secret my marriage to Bravantel and the duty I owed my son. My brothers goaded me with the thought I might never marry, and each of their barbs pricked more deadly than they intended or imagined. I feared for Bravantel and for Heol, and when the war finally ended, I was frenzied with worry for them. Isildur offered me a chance to be the Captain General I had dreamed of becoming, commander of all the armies of the Dunedain, but no longer did my heart desire. I longed only to return to the White Mountains, so I could find my wife and son. Then I would make you more than a mere lord, my son of no blood, Isildur said to me, but rather a prince, for Aether and all his sons perished during the war. Belfalis needs a new master, Go and take my blessing with you. I will take your blessing, I said to him, but not for me. Show mercy instead for the men of the mountain, and lift the curse you have placed upon them. I will bring you the false king's head, and his people shall swear the oath anew. But he refused. Always did Isildur refuse me this one request. I brought desperate search to the Vale of Morthond, but could find no sign of the wild men. The villages abandoned, peopled only by bones. The Hill of Eric had become a blighted and fearful place. I followed the few signs I could find into the mountains, to the source of the Black Root. Deep within the darkness of the mountain tunnels, I found that I came too late. The wild men had all died. Some had perished by starvation or disease. Others had killed one another or themselves. Ryak lay among them, his own sword buried in his own heart. But that was the worst of it. Not the worst of it. Isildur's curse had taken hold. I was chased from those tunnels by the shades of Ryak and his household. From the top of the hill of Eric, he howled his rage and fury at me. I know now who despoiled my daughter. Faithless invader from beyond the sea. My rage will follow you forever, though I remain bound to pass no further than Eric. You will never be free of it, for my howling anger will pursue you wherever you think to go. But this is the least of the daggers with which I cut thee. This will be the sharpest. There can be no escape for my daughter and her child. You will share my sorrow. Detestable thief! For she and the child will remain with me forever. Shade of Tarandil becomes silent, overcome with ancient grief. The Shade of Tarandil says nothing, dwelling upon his old sorrows. Time to do a fun dance.
The pieces fall into place.
And I begin to see the sad road that brought the Shade of Tarandil to this place. And this state as well. Could he have turned away from the curse? From this course, rather, and prevented the evil he would cause? For I guess at the ending, and it's sorrowful. Still, we must hear it.
Tarandil's confession has not yet ended. If he will say more, we must listen.
I have more to tell, though it cause me pain.
I heed it not, for the wounds run deep. There is no part of me that feels them not.
Never before had I known such despair.
I remember little of the days and weeks that followed. I wandered in the wilderness, mad with grief for my wife and son, lamenting their doom, an eternity of pitiless unrest. I never came to the halls that awaited me. Belfalis was not to be mine, and I cared not. I dreamt my family called to me, their voices drawing me deeper into the wild lands. I know not where trod my feet, uncaring. I grew gaunt and hungry. Somewhere in the wilderness, not far from the site of the past victory, that was now wholly meaningless, I found a creature that was known to me, one of the Nine. It was a Nazgul of Sauron, and I could not escape it. Do I say could not? That is not the right of it. I did not try to escape. Perhaps this Nazgul could give me the only escape I wanted. I welcomed the cold touch of death, and feared it not. I forgot all about this part. Man of the West, whose sires once hallowed my master, I offer thee the chance to redeem thyself. My master is unhoused, but yet unbroken. If thou aidest him, if thou bringest him back to power, he can grant thee thy greatest desire. You have come on a fool's errand, Wraith. I desire nothing in the world any longer, only death. The Master can bestow that gift, but not only for thee. Lend him your aid and he will give it to those you love as well. I knew the power of Sauron. Had it not taken the greatest of kings of both elves and men to defeat him? And even then, the effort had taken both their lives. Congrats, Mistweaver. If any might have the power to end the suffering of Barantel and Heol, might it be Sauron? That horse is so awkward. There is something else. Why do I keep having my hands on the wrong keys? Something to satisfy a yearning, so encompassing you do not. You no longer take notice of it. What yearning? For what? Vengeance against those who deserve it. What does Sauron require? Anakin asked. The wretch who stole my master's ring must not be allowed to keep it. Kill him and bring it to Mordor, and death will be your reward. Selling death. Not every day you sell death to Gondor. And so I became my father's son after all. But how many twisting paths had Adargazar, son of Ur-Zagar, come to this place? The name of Tarandil no longer suited me. But I knew I needs But I knew I needed... This is a typo, right? But I knew I needs must wear it a little longer. If I was to fulfill my bargain with the Blade of Lebanon and his master. I returned from the wilderness gaunt and haggard, but with new-found purpose. I returned to Minas just as my foster father Isildur prepared to depart for Numenos, to claim his father Elendil's throne. They delighted to see me again, for they feared my death in the wilderness. The falsehoods came more easily to me than they once did. I told Isildur of my brothers, that I had been waylaid and wounded by orcs on the road, left to die by one of their raiding parties. That would have been the end, I said to them, but for the Orodhoth, the men of the mountain. They rescued me and nursed me back to health. For that they have my gratitude. I tell you true. I would count their broken oaths repaired for this deed. I'm glad for the service to you, Thorondil, son of no blood. But their betrayal remains beyond pardon. This treachery cannot now be redeemed. No matter how dear to me the subject of their aid. But let us not dwell upon the Oathbreakers. It brings me no happiness to speak of such faithless traitors. Not on such a joyful occasion as this. Your return from the wild and from the death. I understand if you do not wish to take the western road again so soon. The change of heart that brought you hither to Minas is understandable. Hey, WC Coyote, thanks so much for that follow. Really appreciate it. Welcome, welcome. And if it is your wish, I will not push you to return to Belfalis. Come with us instead on the northern road, if you are hale and hearty enough for the journey. I don't want you to get hurt again, so instead I'm gonna have you go up and invade Mordor with me. Cause that's so much safer, son. I know Belfalis is a crazy and dangerous place, but come with me and invade Mordor, and together we'll have peace. What say you, Tyrondil? Now I know Sauron's are defeated and all, but still, it's a little ridiculous. I will go with you on that road. For every step of that journey, I imagined many ways Isildur could die. But I would need to escape with the ring, and he was always surrounded by knights. That should be another sponsor. Isildur's 100 Ways to Die by Tyrondil. At dawn, I crept from the camp and slipped away. You are more reckless than the others of your kind I have slain. But there is something else too. A shadow lies upon you, deeper and darker than that of any orc. Is that why you have given us the marching orders for your band, and suggested this plan of attack. It is more detailed than any orcish plan of battle. A feint and retreat, followed by a finishing attack with the guard is down. I like it. I could kill you right now, foolish one. You have given us the perfect location to surprise your band, trapped between the marshes to the left and the forest to the right. What need do I have still of you? Oh, I can name the reason you still live, and that is this only. My curiosity. I'm a very curious orc. I want you to know why. I want to know why you did this. English is hard. Why betray your king? Because he deserves death. Turns away, I love that. I ask only for 3 things. First, my life. Second, escape. And the third, his body. So be it. I will give you these 3 things for which you have asked. My crow feeders will be first to crack at your marching men, but I will send word to the other raiding parties within range of us. Bloody Moon and Twisted Neck, we want to be included. But my crow feeders deserve the greatest share of the treasure, and they will get it. But I warn you, traitor, cross me, and you will keep your life. But only so you will know torments, the likes of which you have never dreamed. I resolved to stay as near to Isildur as I could, without arousing suspicion. When he befell the blades of the orcs, I needed to ensure I could take the ring from his body before the orcs seized it for themselves. A traitor sees treachery everywhere, and I did not trust Gernach. 1 hour after meeting with the crow feeders, I was back at the camp with my sword sheathed. No one had missed me. My treason remained a secret. Once again, the Shade Tarandil falls silent.
Much has been made clear to me by Tarandil's confession.
Gandalf leans wearily on his staff. The Shade of Isildur spoke true. The disaster of the Garden Fields was no accident.
Tarandil's confession draws to its close.
We must hear what he has to say, though the ending is known to us.
Fear and relentless worry gnawed at me on that northward road.
As my foster father's company followed the northern road between the marsh and forest, I saw signs of Gernach's raiding party everywhere. Each snapping twig, every bird taking flight, all seemed to herald the missteps of the orcs. The maps are changed, I remembered thinking, as the company neared my scouted location. The course of the river is different than it was when we came south. The lay of the land may not be as I remembered. It was not going to work. Then there was no time left for doubt. If Adunzagar could have repented of his treachery and slayed Tarandil, that time was gone when the orcs attacked. I did not notice its passing, for at first the plan I had given the orcs seemed without flaw. At first. The darkness shielded their numbers, and enlarged the attacking force in the minds of Isildur's men. Still they were valiant, and tempered by their travails during the war they had so recently fought. When there came an opening, my foster father commanded they press further north. But it was not the harbinger of victory it seemed, and the orcs returned for the second of the attacks I had suggested.
The second attack was more fierce than the first had been. Isildur's defeat seemed certain.
You guys are having a good time. Well, at least he trims his toenails. Taranda went up to him and he's like, hey, if you guys are gonna kill my father, at least like take care of yourselves, you know, do a little hygiene, clip your toenails. It'll all be great. I became separated from Isildur during the fighting, and while I engaged with orcs on one flank of our diminishing circle, he gave something to his esquire, Orhatar. Otar vanished during the fighting. Did he escape? More importantly, what was he given? What was he given? Had Otar taken the ring? I had to know. Tarandil, you have to keep fighting. We are going to get through this. What did father give to Otar? It is not the time for this, brother. Keep fighting. There are too many. Tarandil, you have to go protect father. Mamisil, I will. Elendran, the orcs are too many. Tarandil, you're alive. Thank the Valar. Things go ill for us, brother. Father sent his esquire away before the fighting became too thick, entrusting Otar to bear the shards of Narsil away from the battle. But I fear he did not give him the object of the orc's desire. And if we do not do something, they will seize it. Father, you have to escape. You must bring it to... Stand tall, my sons! As I run away. During the confusion, I lost sight of Isildur. Where had he gone? And did he still have the ring? If he escaped now, my bargain with the Nazgul would come to naught. And you can kill yourself, dude. You don't have to let the Nazgul kill you. The riverbank. You must have escaped to the riverbank. The music here really adds to it too. His armor lay among the reeds discarded. He must have intended to swim. Isildur swam, and I pursued. Yeah, I know he wants his son and wife freed from the curse too. Like, is it really such a bad curse? That you got to go betray your father and brothers? I mean, this is some Anakin stuff right here, man. I found him at last, but could make no sense of him. Of his expression. Mixed pain and elation. My muscles ached. The swim had taken its toll on me, and I knew I must rest before attempting the return journey. I would hide among the reeds and wait for the orcs prowling on the distant shore he abandoned their vigil. Then I would swim back with my prize. Despite my exhaustion, I had to complete the task I had set for myself. It was time. As tired as I was, as sick in heart and body as a man can be, I had to finish this. Father, do you still have it? Does the ring remain safe? It is gone. He left me in the water. I am forsaken, and I am free. No. No! Throndir, what is the... Orcs. He must have been lying. His body, I need his body. I'll find it and pry the ring from his dead hand. Curse you, Isildur! Curse you. Gruntil and Heol were innocent. You are gone with the current, and the ring with you. Wish you luck, you have the Zero card questline. Oh man, you're gonna need it. All is lost. All is ashes. 1,000 curses upon you. Without the ring, I cannot fulfill my bond. I cannot save my family. Braventil. Heol. I tried. I tried. I tried. You know, I know he's not smart at all, but if he was, he would have just waited for Isildur to die anyway. And then, got, you know, whoever was next in line to release the curse. Dang. But for men such as me, death was no escape.
My dagger cut deeply, and I perished.
But although the line of my life had reached its end, I was to have no rest. The oath I swore was to a power far greater and darker than that sworn by Ryuk. And it bound me to these cursed fields long past the night my blood was spilt. I searched in vain for Sauron's ring, but my prize was lost, and with it, all my hopes. Hey Ruin, thank you so much for that host! I yielded to my misery, and rage consumed me. So great was my ire, that all fled before me. And as the centuries passed, I left behind all memory of my life. All I knew was anger. Dude, everyone coming in with the gifted subs! Everyone giving out a gift sub to Mistweaver, Oofy, Epic, Uger, Sauce FN, and Deliana Opal. Thank you everyone. Let's get some serious hype in the chat. Thank you so much, man. Everybody enjoy the ad-free viewing, the extra entries in the monthly giveaway, the badges, the emotes, and everything else that comes with a sub here on Twitch, like voting on the next game I play. Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Dude, that is awesome. Really, really cool, man. Thank you, thank you. But then, amid the confused tatters of my memory, one crossed my path with who I knew of old. He wore the appearance of an old pilgrim, cloaked in grey. But I knew this vagabond's form hid a greater power. How could he have returned? I confronted him, and my spirit was seared by the heat of the power he kept hidden. Then I was afraid and fled, but he followed close behind and cast a spell most cruel. I was banished, but the force of my oath prevented my leaving in the distress. My very being was torn asunder, and I knew no more for long years. That's crazy. So his spirit was basically like ripped apart between two curses. Oh my gosh. But something changed. Something far away and yet ever present. And my form coalesced in agony out of the mist. The pain I felt in that moment was worse than every torment I ever experienced, save one. The anguish of losing Barvantel and Heol forevermore. That pain I feel still, and it will never abate. So, because Sauron was defeated, this dude was able to come back.
I desired to confess my treachery, and I have done so.
Oh yeah, I forgot we get the housing items and stuff. What's the difference between Western damage and normal damage? Western damage typically does more against most enemies. Basically, it's like a damage type, so like fire damage or something like that. Yeah, except for enemies that are resistant to Western S damage, it should do more damage to them, is basically all it means. So enemies have less resistance usually against Western S. Yeah, common damage is pretty bad. I desired to confess my treachery, and I have done so. There remains but one thing for me. I will seek for my wife and child, for Barvantel and Heol, no matter where they may be. I would suffer any hurt to see them again, and to know their fate. Question? Question? Does that mean that Bravantel and Heol had to fight for Aragorn? Were they part of the oath? Because it'd be hilarious if there's like a little kid killing all these orcs. I'm just saying, it'd be pretty comical. And then like the look on the Gondorian's face is like, what the heck has Aragorn done? Like, why do we have children hillmen that are ghost spirits killing orcs? This is terrifying, man. Sure he's not the only kid either. Yeah, right? Yeah, it's gotta be crazy. See, from the movies, they make you think that it's all only soldiers, right? But no, it's apparently families too. Like, that's crazy. Whether it be doom unhindered, or rest finally achieved, do they linger still in this world? I have to know. If I must consign myself to mindless oblivion in the effort, so be it. I face it without fear. Tarandil's form wavers uncertainly, and he addresses Isildur for the last time. Father, I do not seek your pardon. I know it could never be granted, and I would not ask it, but I wanted you to know how sorry I am. I have forgotten so much over the centuries, but that I never lost, that sorrow was always with me. Even when all else was emptiness. Freed of the burden. Talk to the Shade of Isildur, wagon in Lairland. Where be Lairland? Oh, literally right here. Literally right here. Okay, game.
I do not forgive you, Tarandil. My son not of blood, but of choice.
Man, it's creepy to hear my son not of blood in like a wraith form. That's just creepy. But I think there was a time when these sorrows might have been avoided, had you spoken freely to me in life. I set aside my vengeance. There is no suffering I could impose that you have not inflicted upon yourself. Go then, and endure the punishment you earned, the punishment you created. Be gone. Be gone. The Shade of Tarandil bows his head and fades from view.
Hearing the tale of Tarandil in its fullness fills me with both satisfaction and regret.
The first is for the response in it to questions long unanswered. But the second, for my own part in the tale. The evil deeds he performed cannot be excused. But if I had known the full extent of the Shade's story, I might have stayed my hand. Farewell to Tarandil, and to Bravantel and Heol, whatever their fates. Our journey must continue, Stafting. One oath may yet be fulfilled. We must continue on to Rivendell. Now we get to go all the way to freaking Rivendell. Oh man, what's the fastest way there? You know, Erebor wouldn't be a bad place to return to. Let's go there, and then I think there's a port from there to Rivendell. Mistweaver having the 5 months.
What do you need?
What do you need? Himkarin, thank you so much for the 50 bits. Really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Welcome, welcome. Really appreciate it. Taking the number 5 spot there. Let's see here. Where do I need to go? I think this would be the most helpful. I know that's just where we were, but I thought this had a port to Rivendell. But of course, the dwarf place doesn't have a port to Rivendell. That's insanity, apparently. Alright, let's try here.
Will you help us? There is always more to be done.
I guess South Breeze is close as we're getting right now. Alright, here we go, game. I can't believe how little XP we've gotten from doing this epilogue. Because we did a whole book of the epic story and the epilogue. And we've only gotten like half a level.
What do you need?
Finally, Rivendell. Finally, Rivendell. Let's go. Da, 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 da. All right. Let's actually go back. I want a screenshot. There we go. Thank goodness the insane lag seems to be over, because I couldn't go across that log if it was still here. I'd be a dead man right now. Edith, welcome, welcome. Nice to have you here. Didn't the reduced XP you get for quests way over your level to discourage power leveling? Maybe. I think you're right. I think if you're doing red level quests, you get less XP. That might be true. So that might be part of the problem. Yeah, no, leveling doesn't take forever. But it is weird how little XP this story seems to be giving. The wagon bearing the bones of Isildur has come a long way from Gondor, and so have you.
After the passage of so many years, I have come at last to Rivendell, as was my vow.
That's true. I can now know rest, these long centuries later. Never did I think this day would come. The shade of Isildur wavers before you, shimmering in and out of view. With a great effort, he remains to give you his final words. The tale of Tarandil has stirred something in me, and I can dismiss it no longer. I know the struggle he faced, the conflict that caused him such distress, and I find I can understand. I do not forgive him, but I understand what caused him to fall. He was my son, not of blood, but a son all the same. Some measure of his wickedness must be traced to me. For was I not the man he would strive to be? The shade of Isildur wavers again, his attachment to Middle-earth made tenuous by fulfillment of his ancient vow. Nildor, welcome, welcome. Nice to have you here. Do I know when Rohan housing will come to Lotro? I think it's soon. I don't remember exactly when, but it's not like... It should be this year, I think, still. But I don't think they've said, like, a set date, like, you know, exactly when. My guess is this next update. Like, actual full update. My thoughts turn to Aener Staftang. Tarandil fell to darkness through the arts of the Blade of Lebanon, one of the Nazgul, and not the greatest nor the most evil. But Aener fell to the Lord of the Nazgul himself. Aener spoke of the torments he endured in that dark place, and I dismissed them. The blood of my brother Anarion ran through his veins, and I chastised him for not resisting. I cursed him for failure. I, who might have ended the reign of Sauron forever, and could not. I regret my words. Aener should not be left to rot within Minas Morgul, Staftang. Did I say he died as Gothmog? Nay, he died as Aener, descended through many generations from my brothers Anarion, who perished on the fields of Barad-dûr. It is my hope that the body of Aener will be recovered and given a king's rest. This is my final request, Staftang. Farewell. His vow fulfilled, the shade of Isildur at last knows peace.
Isildur and the ring came to Rivendell long years after he so vowed. Now both are gone from the world.
It has been an eventful journey. But there is one more thing I must say to you, my friend. Gandalf's eye twinkles merrily, and he lifts the Black Book of Mordor from its leather strap. I spent the latter half of the ride to Rivendell considering what I might have missed within the Black Book, Staftang. The glass shard from the beacon of Barad-dûr revealed no further secrets to me, but I felt certain there was more to learn,
I had overlooked some trick. At last I have determined my error. And while I am ashamed to admit it, even the very wise will sometimes make mistakes of this fashion. I was so focused upon the writing of Voin that all else was obscured, as if I were blindfolded. That is how I missed it. Voin's handwriting is very distinctive, and as I scoured it for any further clue, I quite ignored the drawings which decorate the margins of several pages near the end of the tome. I saw no meaning in those pictures, for I thought them mere embellishment. And yet, hidden among these illustrations, I finally recognized further dwarf runes. I did not see them during my previous studies because they were not written in Voin's hand. Someone else wrote these runes, hiding them in plain sight. I have now translated them, Staffdang, and can properly tell you the ending to Voin's tale. Are you ready to finally finish all these memories and close this book for freaking good?
These runes were not made by Voin's hand. They were made by another.
Are written in the Zelruka mode, but not in Voin's distinctive hand. No, these letters were made by another, Voin's wife, Bosina. It was she who finished the Black Book of Mordor. Hear now her words, and you will know the end of the tale herein contained. Here we go.
What secrets did she add to the holes of memory? I wonder.
Did she add to the holes of memory? I don't know why Gandalf sounds like this. I am named Bakuzina, and I am of the Zelruka. I met Voin, who would be my husband when I was young, and my beard was but a shadow of what it is today, and I did not count him much a dwarf. It was only with the passage of years that he earned my love, and now we have a son. Tazko is his name, and already I have filled his ears with the stories of his father's adventures. But he is young, and to him tales are just tales. Ask of old dwarf the tales of her youth, and she may not remember them. So I do not entrust this story to Tazko, though he is dearest to me in all this world, and I will raise him to be all a Zelruka should be. It was Voin's wish that I record the end of his tale in the tome he brought out of Mordor, and this I now do. It was in the year 2051 that Voin went south in search of his vanished friend, the lost king of Gondor. He fell in with such wicked dwarves as he could find. In their company he made his way past the bonds of Mordor. Cue the elevator music. There should be elevator music every time we go through these tunnels. For 12 years he remained in Mordor, and when he finally returned, he was not the same. The time he spent among such wickedness in the Black Land and the citadel of Minas Morgul took its toll upon him. No one could have survived such experience unchanged. But by my beard, I say none could have done better than my Voin. I miss him every day. Ugh. That was a sound effect. Alright. Well, let's keep going. He spent years in Minas Morgul, trying to free his friend from a cruel fate. But it was not to be. The torments of the Witch King proved too severe, and in time Eärnur's resistance fell, as he knew they would. He had told Voin this day would come, but my husband refused to believe it. Alas, the depths of evil in that place overmastered Voin's hopeful heart, and the words of his friend proved true. The day Voin feared came at last. The Witch King's domination was complete. Eärnur was given a new raiment and a new name. After years of torment, he remembered neither his friends nor their adventures. Voin was but one wicked dwarf among many who served in Minas Morgul. He tried to remind Eärnur of his old life, but it was to no avail. Use that name in my presence, and I will have you slain. I meant no offense. It will not happen again until next week. See that it does not. Tell my master I will join him presently at Bar Nemroth. The Mistress of Lamentation has a task for me. Yes, of course. Thank you for your mercy, Mordor. I know how painful it was for him. Voin knew the time had come. He ascended the stairs in the tower and came to the very highest chamber, where rested the great beacon. He broke a shard from its reflective surface, and using the secret arts of our kind, he trapped a ray of the moonlight in the glass. Sitting in that high place, my husband took from his satchel an empty tome he had taken from an archive in the city. An accursed sage that governed it never knew the book to be missing. In the light of that moon, Voin wrote the tale of his years, and he left nothing out. He wrote of Magildir the elf, into whose life my husband came only near the end, and wept to have not known him longer. He wrote of the knights of Gondor, with whom he adventured in Gundabad and elsewhere. Hopeful Silmatar, courageous Ketelnir, swift Masilnis, and loyal Orlan, whose death grieved him for all the rest of his days. But most of all, he wrote of Eärnur, the lost king of Gondor, and his dearest friend. It would be the only recording of the man Eärnur had been before the fall, before he fell into the net of the Witch King. When Voin could find no more words to write, he found a plain coffer in the city and fashioned 2 keys to open it. One of the keys he kept, the other he set beneath hammer and broke the end. He presented that broken key to the wraith who had once been his friend. Hey, take care, Templar. What is this?
I need no gifts from Morgul slaves.
This is not a gift from me. It is a gift from your master. The Lord of the Nazgul wants you to keep this key on your person. It will unlock a mighty weapon. A weapon that cannot be overcome.
The key is broken. There is naught it can unlock.
The tests of your Nazgul master are no concern of mine. I have done my duty, Mordor. Farewell, I say. Farewell. Voin left Minas Morgul Inn, walking as if he were its master and could not be harmed. Do we go this way? That's the way we came in, right? No, it's gotta be back over here. Question mark? I don't know where we go. I do not remember. It's not that way. Well, I guess it's back the way we came. Welcome back, Mistweaver. He did not stay in Mordor. After 12 years, my husband returned to me. Even hiding among the margin illustrations in the Black Book, the tome of Bakuza's writing is as clear as the crystal surface of a mountain lake. I had some questions, she writes. Our home in Yarnfast needed some repair, and Voin wished to construct something else. Voin wanted to build a secret chamber in which to hide the book he had written. The chamber took many years to finish. It was his life's work, and into the construction he poured every part of himself. On the walls he carved the song of the Far Gathol, for that was the dream he had set aside for the love of his friends and the memory of his struggles. But it still captured his imagination. Often I would enter the hidden chamber unnoticed and find him staring at the song, humming to himself. More than once I would interrupt his musings and hear him speaking softly in the dim light. One day, he would say from time to time. One day. Our son Tazko was born in the years following his father's return from Mordor. and he delighted to play in the hidden room. But eventually Voin grew cross and forbade his son from entering. "It is disrespectful, Tazco," he chided that boy. "The room is a crypt. It is the tomb for the dwarf I was, and for the friends who have died, and worse than died." Hey, Toe Killer, how's it going? Toe Killer wants me to say, "The toe is a liar." What could be worse than death? Tazco asked him once. But that was the end of the discussion. Voin would no longer speak openly of the hidden chamber or the tome within. In time, my husband felt the onset of his years, and knew his end approached. There was one last journey for us to make, and then he would be satisfied with the life he had lived. The three of us journeyed westward to the Grey Mountains. It has been a long journey, but I have a few more to take. I trust you both know you have all my love. Good, good. Keep the deeds of the Zaruka close to your heart, Tazco, and live by their example. You will be a strong dwarf, and brave. Stronger and braver than I have been, I expect. I am proud of you, my son. Take care of your mother and see that she wants for nothing. Bozhina, you are more dear to me than you know. And these years have been better than I deserve. Take care of Tazco, and know that I will bear the memories of our time together, wherever these steps take me. Farewell for now. Is he really going to find the Fargathol? What do you believe, Tazco? I hope so. I think so. Why do I talk like this, Mother? To bring brevity to a sad situation, son. Oh my gosh, the feels. And then he was gone. We returned to Yarnfast. My husband was right. Tazco grew to be a fine, strong dwarf. And as the years passed, he proved an able help to his mother and to the rulers in the Iron Hills. He spoke often of the great deeds of Zelruka, past and present. Voin would have been very proud of his son. I placed the tome of my husband had written in the hidden chamber, and resealed the door. I remembered that secret room less and less often as the years went on, and in time I stopped going inside at all. Tazco does not remember the journey we took to the Grey Mountains, and his father. But every now and then he asks what I think happened to him. He found the lost city of the Fargathol, I tell him, and he smiles. And why should he not? Voin survived Mordor and Minas Morgul, and defied the edicts of the Witch King himself. I think if anyone could find that lost city, it would be my husband. Now I feel the passing of the years as Voin did, and I know my time is nearly ended. I have come into the hidden chamber one last time, and I will write the conclusion of my husband's story in the manner he wanted. My friends defied evil, he said to me, and I do not want them forgotten. I promised to conclude the tale, and now that I have done so, I will set the book down upon its table, and sing the song my husband carved upon the walls. I will leave the hidden chamber and seal the door, and then I think I will sit for a time and think of Voin. If any should find this book after a year or 2 or 10, know that Voin and Bozhina and their son Tazko were happy with their lot. And despite the difficulties of their time, they knew even a hopeless night must come to an end. And there would always be good-hearted folk, ready and eager to greet the dawn. Farewell, unknown friend. Farewell.
I am pleased to know the end of the tale.
That is all Bakuza had to say to us, Saftang. By Bakuza, I mean Bozhina. I am pleased to know the end of the tale. Now, with the departure of Isildur, our business in Rivendell is concluded. Aragorn will have need of us in Gondor, for evil still lurks within Minas Morgul. Remember Isildur's last request.
Reminded of Isildur's last request, you tell Gandalf that the son of Elendil repented of his words concerning Eärnur, and hoped his body might be recovered from Barad-Caryon. Gandalf mirthfully raises an eyebrow.
It has already been done, Saftang. Aragorn, that is to say King Elisar, commanded that Eärnur's body be recovered from Minas Morgul before I began the northward journey to Rivendell.
You ask Gandalf the reason behind Elisar's command.
Actually, it was quite simple. Eärnur was a king of Gondor. He said to me, he should return to the lands he loved, and that loved him. I saw the wisdom in it, and did not gainsay his words. Within the hour, the guards of the citadel were dispatched to Barad-Caryon to carry out the king's command. They found the watching stones outside the tower abandoned, and passed within without objection. Eärnur's body was borne from the city, and returned to Minas Tirith. He was laid to rest in the tomb of his fathers on the silent street, and at the last he knew freedom from the shadows of Mordor and the long reach of Angmar.
Gandalf nods thoughtfully, and raps his staff upon the ground.
Well, I think that is story enough for one journey. I thank you once again for your company on the long road, my friend. And I seek for you when next I have cause. Until then, farewell. Should you have need of me before then, look for me at the lodge of our good friend Grimbeorn, whose hospitality cannot be measured.
Alright, we gotta go back to Grimbeorn so we can do the final quest, which is super epic. We might not have time today, but we're gonna try to maybe make time. Here we go. Squeaky chair is squeaky.
Well met.
Squeak, squeak. Let's see. Hold this.
We do not fear the darkness, and we never will.
Beornings really won't. I love that they've explored their culture in this game. It's been really cool. Tell me, where is Gandalf? For I much desire to speak with him. Tell me, where is Gandalf?
Yes, I have been expecting you.
Together, we have unearthed every secret hidden within the Black Book of Mordor by Voin and Bosina, the long-distant dwarves who authored it. Only one question remains. What is to be done with the book now? I see a number of possibilities, my friend. It was Kill Tailspinner who gave the book into our keeping, and his claim is perhaps the strongest. Voin and Bakuza were thrice great-grandparents, and if the book is to be kept by anyone still living today in Middle-earth, we might do worse than a Zelruka relative of its authors. But there is another interest to be considered. The Black Book of Mordor contains a great deal of information that would be prized by scholars concerning the history of Gondor and the fate of King Erna. The book is truly deserving of a place of honor in the Houses of Lore in Minas Tirith. The scholar Covadil would gratefully accept the donation of it, and in that way Voin's wish for Erna's struggle to be remembered in future would be truly fulfilled. There is one other claim to the Black Book, Staffjang. Indeed, the nobility of this claim might be doubted, but I believe it is still worth considering. I speak of the claim of Karazgar, the Weeping Warrior, who asked that you steal the book and deliver it to him. Yes, I know about your encounter with him at the Old Ford. I chose not to say anything, but I am pleased my trust in you was not misplaced, and we were able to decipher the last of the book's mysteries. Why then might we entertain Karazgar's request, Staffjang? Why, it is for that very reason. We know what the book says. He does not. He believes it contains the secret of preventing his decline, or securing his power, but it does not. It does contain a great deal of confusion and mystery for one who does not know how to read it. And that is to say nothing of the trick with the shard of the beacon glass. What might he give up in exchange for the book he thinks will be of use to him, but is not, and cannot be? It may be an academic question, but those are always of interest to me. So, I leave the disposition of the Black Book of Mordor to you, my friend. Choose who should have it, and deliver it to either Kill Tailspinner in Yarnfast, Covadil in the Houses of Lore in Minas Tirith, or Karazgar in the Old Ford. I leave the decision up to you. And with this choice, you will choose the Black Book of Mordor close the Black Book of Mordor for good. I thank you again, Staffjang.
So, will Staffjang give the Black Book to Karazgar, the Weeping Warrior, Kill Tailspinner, or Covadil in the Houses of Lore? Find out next week on the Black Book of Mordor! Hi. So, on my champion, because I thought it was so cool, how could I not? I gave it to Karazgar. So I'm eliminating that option from the choices because we've already done it on another character. So it looks like chat's overwhelmingly saying Covadil, which is surprising to me because I was wanting to give it to Kill, but you guys all want to do it to Covadil, so let's do that.
I have slain goblins today. Can you say the same?
Minas Tirith Midsummer is still just Minas Tirith after battle, right? Like that's... Is that the correct one? Yeah, give it to COVID. Oh my gosh. I'm not sure if that's the correct Minas Tirith. Well, let's go there and see what it does. Well, it said after the battle. But I think this is a little different. Yeah, it doesn't think it's here. Alright. Well, hopefully we can get to where we need to go from here.
Gondor needs your aid.
Here we go. So we can go way up there. Here we go. I mean the actual after the battle, right? Well, we're going to the actual after the battle now. And by going, I mean are here. Yes. Good deal. It's a lot further over here than I remembered. But yeah, I remember it coming in here now. Okay. We're good. We're good. Where is this guy? That's pretty cool. Just past her. In the side room. Alright, we got the Harad room, and then we got other rooms over there. Oh, Harad room. Hello again, my friend. Did the king's foil I gave you cure your headache? I have some more here if you... Oh. You are not here for king's foil. What brings you then to the houses of lore? You explained to Coverdale that you have come into possession of a book that has much to say concerning the history of Gondor, and you would like it to find a place on the shelves among other such tomes. You hand her the glass shard and begin to describe the account contained within the pages of the Black Book. Before you have gone very far, Coverdale interrupts with an apologetic smile. It isn't really up to me, but I can give the book to the masters, and they will study it for acceptability. If they deem it merits inclusion, and truly does contain knowledge of use to Gondor, they will add it to their collection. You wonder aloud whether any of the scholars in the Houses of Lore can read ancient Zelruka runes. Oh, I doubt it, she responds. I think I will just add it to the shelves myself. If you say this contains important historical knowledge, I believe you. None today can say what might be important to know for tomorrow. I say we preserve this tome for future scholars to mull over. Coverdale takes the Black Book from you and carefully tucks the glass shard inside the cover. I look forward to reading it, Staftang. I've been trying to decide which language I should next set my sights upon, and it seems I have received my course. The runes of the ancient Zelruka. Thank you again, my friend. The Black Book will remain in the Houses of Lore, waiting to enrich the knowledge of future interested scholars, and I am glad to have played a part in it. And so ends the Black Book of Mordor, Gandalf murmurs with satisfaction. There we go. We are done for now. You get a cool title now. Master of the Book. I don't know, Temple Raider is pretty cool too. Anyway, that concludes our Black Book of Mordor series, everybody. I wasn't exactly sure if we would be able to do it today, but we did. You're kind of a book nerd, so you appreciate it. I am really interested to see on my main what comes of giving the book to Karazgar, though. There's got to be something there, right? Because that's a pretty monumental decision. But can Karazgar even read Dwarven? These are questions we still have. What's his name gets up to with the... Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see what the Easterling does with Karazgar's mask. Arise and... That's gonna be real cool. Anyway, that does end this series. Hopefully all of you enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed going back through this epic story, even though it's not actually part of the epic story. It's been pretty cool. I might level this character to 130, we'll see what happens, but I will not be playing through any more story for some time. I think I need a larger gap than I had with the Black Book of Mordor. The Black Book of Mordor was a little too recent when we started this series, but I wanted to play this character was the thing. And that's the problem. I love my Lore Master. It's probably my favorite class in all of LOTRO, but it's tied in the series that keeps it bound a little bit lower. But, you know, that's okay. Horizon is going to become Sauron / Skarsgård 2.0. Maybe. I don't know. It'll be very interesting to see where LOTRO goes in general, right? Because right now we're very much in a time of peace, which hasn't happened in a long time. So, it'll be cool to see where it goes. Just create another one. Embrace your inner alcoholic. No, I want to play other games, man. I want to play other games too. So, I am going to be playing Star Wars. The new one. I need to remember what it's called. I can never remember what this game's called, apparently. But patrons and Twitch subs have voted. And Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order was what won. So we'll be doing that next. We'll also be starting Horizon Zero Dawn. And of course, we'll still be playing LOTRO. But yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn is coming to PC for the first time on August 7th? Whatever that Friday is, the first Friday in August. So, in like a week. So I'm excited for that too. It is a good game, it's just too short. Okay. Good short game. So anyway, we'll be playing through Fallen Order. And we'll also be playing through Horizon Zero Dawn. And we still have to finish Spyro. So we'll be doing that too. Because we're on the final world before the final boss. So, of the final game. So that should be fun. Of the first 3 that were on PlayStation 1. I hope they release the Elijah Wood Spyros on PC, because I would love to play through them just to see what it's like to have Frodo as Spyro. Because like Spyro's character is so different than like most of the characters Elijah Wood plays, so it'll be very interesting to see what Elijah Wood did with that character and the devs. Anyway, let's find someone to raid here.